Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on this episode of the Good Side podcast. Please join us every week as we talk about current events, relationship issues, and just about anything that concerns our life. We aim to highlight the positivity in the world, the goodness of God, and of course, the goodness in people. So whether it's a story, a person, or a situation, there's always some good to be found. And I'm supposed to read this next line, so let me read it. So our hope is to inspire a more purposeful way of living, impact the lives of others who hears and receives our message positively, and to create a community of gratitude with purpose. That's what we aim to in this show. So today, everyone, again, I am so happy to be back. It's great to be with you guys again on this episode. I have a special guest today, and this is my really good friend. She's been in my life for so long, and everything that I learned in life about my spiritual walk came from this woman, so I completely adore this woman. So anyway, without further ado, this is Miss Suzy, everyone.
Well, hello. How are you? And it's been warm here in Vegas, but even in the warmth, we still find the beauty in being able to have the sunlight. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't understand that being in the light spiritually and physically makes a big difference. A lot of cities have overcast, and I think of Seattle when I talk about that.
Oh, I know.
You know, that's considered like the suicide capital of the world because it's so gloomy. Mm-hmm. But thank God we have Vegas, lots of sun. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's warm, but we can deal with the warmth. Mm-hmm. We can go inside where it's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoy sunshine more than anything.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really bother me.
Me either.
The lights.
Yeah.
Like this morning, I had a Zoom call, and this guy, he is in Chicago.
Yeah.
So he was like, oh, so I've always wondered, so how are you handling the summer in Vegas, because you have the triple digits
right.
and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, it's just another day for us, because it's really, you learn to adapt, just like with any environment you're in. Like, I wasn't born here. I was born in another country. And then where I'm born, it's humid. All day long.
Yeah.
Even in the sunsets, it's humid.
Yeah.
So when I was living there, that was my environment. So that's how I was able to adapt. So I adapt. And then we move here. Mm-hmm. And I was hoping to be in a state where there's snow and like 4 seasons.
Well, that's why we have Arizona. Not Arizona. Well, Colorado.
Yes.
You can kind of get to what we have right here in Vegas. We have Mount Charleston. Mm-hmm. So we're a city where you can be in Paris. Mm-hmm. You can be in Switzerland where there's snow.
Right.
You can be in Colorado. Mm-hmm. But then you can come down from the mountain, and here we are. We're in. Now I'm a native. Mm-hmm. I'm born and raised here.
Gosh,
so
one of the few. Yeah.
So the change in climate, I guess, doesn't really bother me because we were kids playing outside in this stuff, Because during those days, parents were like, "You're not going to run in and out and have my air conditioner outside." So when you went outside, you stayed outside and you played until it was time for lunch or a snack. So again, but then moving away from Vegas, living in New York, living in Italy and all these different countries, that you get to see how other people live. And yet, here I am back in Vegas. So it comes down to you adapt wherever you are. Wherever you are. That's in life even. We have to be ready for change. Makes sense?
Yeah, because change is good.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's not always bad.
No.
Like, going through change. And I'm a firm believer that, as you go through life, you have plans, right? And then there's God's plans there, right? So part of the plan is change.
Absolutely.
Like, it was never, I don't think that it's really in God's plan that once He has placed you in this particular spot, that's it. That's your spot.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be, as you evolve, as you make, He gave us free will, right? So as you make your choices, you make your decisions, constantly life is going to change. Life is going to, it's going to kind of like follow you where you decide to go. And then, of course, you know.
And the question is, do you decide to go to these places?
Oh my gosh.
A lot of times we're just led to move, you know, to go. For me, as I said, I left Las Vegas. I went to California. Then I said, okay, and then my next move, and it had to have been God because I wasn't impressed with snow.
Oh.
So I ended up in New York for 15 years, you know, and then just moving around. So it really wasn't my decision, but I was willing to go.
Oh,
that's
right.
that's I think is the thing. That is the thing that I think is, as they say, apropos. Being open, being willing to move or to accept change. I mean, we get married, have children, things change, absolutely change. And again, being here in the capital, what they call this is the adult Disneyland.
Right.
We take our kids 4 hours away. We can go to Disneyland and take the kids. You know, again, go to Colorado. You can go skiing, for real skiing. And then you can also go up to Mount Charleston, Big Bear. We're like a centerpiece. If you were to put your hand up and the palm of your hand, we have all these extensions like our fingers off of Las Vegas that we can enjoy. So for many people, with Vegas being like considered the entertainment capital of the world, you can be in Las Vegas with the Paris Hotel, with the Mirage. You can be in any country at any time, and you're living in a city that has sunshine.
Right. It's amazing, right? Do you remember I was asking you before we started the podcast? I'm like, give me a word, because you know, like the one thing about this show, when God gave me the vision to make it happen, to put it together, I've always tried to prepare, you know, because I want to prepare, I want to make sure that I give a good show, you know, for people. But then God always, for some reason, soon as I sit and I put this on and I look in the camera, everything changed. It's always, he seemed like he presents the message as soon as we go on air, which is really an amazing thing, you know, to me. Like, I welcome that. It's exciting, you know. So anyway, so I was asking you about the word, right? So you go, oh, maybe favor, right? So I wrote it down, favor. But we've been talking about the word change since we started this episode. So that's the word. It's change.
Well, it's faith over favor. And if you know me, I have these different things that take place with me. There's faith, there's favor, and there's an equal sign, like in math.
Okay.
It equals change. There's got to be a shift. There's got to be movement. So faith, faith with works, but favor outweighs that. Favor and faith can go where money can't go, where prestige can't take you. But if you're willing, in the midst of everything, it'll equal a change. And that change and that mind shift, that's what we need. We really need a mind shift.
Absolutely.
Because we have the tendency to think that whatever the plan is, like you, when you said you sat down and you have this plan and we've written it all out, and then goes whoop. And when he shifts the atmosphere and when he makes that change, that shift, you said change, that's it. When that shift and that change are you willing to go with the shift, the change?
Yes.
So there's faith, there's favor, there's a shift, and you think about it like the air, wind.
Right.
Whether it's going north, south, east, or west, or as we say, in north, east, west, and south, meaning news. What if you follow in that? If you follow where the wind is taking you, your blessings are right there. They're like feathers in the wind that are waiting for us to accept.
To catch.
Yeah, no, not even catch. Just, that's the thing. We think we got to jump up and grab it.
Oh.
The one thing about faith, favor, and change, if you think about it, if you go, and feathers are in. If you try to grab them just from the air of your fingers, you keep missing them.
You can't.
But
grab
if you
them.
just stand still and open your hands, if we stop, just stop. The change says, "Be still. Be still and know that I'm God." Just be still. The feathers will come down upon you, and instead of getting one feather, you get a multitude. They shower you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you say to that? How's your shower over there?
I wish I put like lotion on me so I could catch everything.
You don't have to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. So So, for example, like, okay, I'm gonna give a good testimony here because we've been talking about it the past couple of days. So, it's summer, right? So kids are out of school, and so, my son Jacob. So he's been home, and of course he's an only child, no kids to play with at home. So he learned the video game. So he's been playing video games all summer long, and the one thing that I've always wanted for him to experience is like how I was growing up. I've always been just outside the house playing, and I'm always with other kids, right? So my prayer always is like, Lord, please bring him friends, bring us into, give me ideas where I can take him and things like that. So lo and behold, I got a phone call, from this mom of one of his classmates in school, right? And she's like, my son has been asking about Jacob. So I said, you know what? Okay, I'm going to call. So she calls me. And she's like, oh, would you like to have a play date? Things like that. So we made plans, right? But then I said, then I asked her, well, where do you take your son, for the summer? And she's like, oh, I take him to the rec center.
Right.
And I was like, rec center? Well, that's a good idea. So I got the information. And then she's like, oh, just so you know, they get pretty full. There's a lot of kids there, but I would, fill out the application form online and so get the heads up, right? So I did. I filled out the application form. And sure, on the calendar where it lets you pick what activity you want for your son, it said closed.
Yes.
Every day closed. For the last 2 weeks, it was closed, right?
And it was supposed to be full this whole week, too.
It was full, this whole week. So I'm like, Lord, oh my gosh. Like I said, okay. But something inside me, I'm like, no, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there and then ask in person. Because sometimes, like they would have cancellation or whatever. So when I told the mom, I said, oh, I filled out the form and the website said they're full. And she goes, oh, hang on, let me make a phone call. So she calls the rec center and then still got the same and said, oh, we're full, right? But, and she tells me like, oh, I'm so sorry, they're full for the summer. She said, but maybe you can walk in. I said, that's exactly what I was thinking. So maybe I'll walk in, right? So then I called you that day when we parked, right? And so you said, nope, you walk in there like you bring God's favor with you. Because you have, like, of course, I should have that. I don't know why I keep forgetting that I carried with me. And
right. Well, sometimes we need a reminder because you were a mother making lunches and he's talking and the shift and the wind was going in every direction. But the thing that was the key that we talked about is, here we go with faith and favor.
And favor.
Faith over favor sometimes. Because sometimes our faith gets weak. But if you got the favor.
Man, Ma, faith over fear is what really I want to say is faith over fear. Because I already had the fear. I'm like, man, they're not going to, there's no space. So then I won't have anywhere to bring Jacob. So then I'm going to have to take him with me, because that day to work and stuff. So I was thinking like, no. And I called you and you told me like, nope, you walk in there like you have the favor. Like you
what was the first thing you had to do?
Oh, you said.
That's right.
You said grab a lotion, oil, or anything like that and oil your hands and your feet, right?
And anoint the bottom of your feet and his feet. That God will make room. There's faith and favor again.
Yes.
You had the fear that it was going to be, you had the fear.
Yeah,
but God had already spoken to you. Because if not, you would not have had the unctioning to just go.
Exactly. Because normally I would be like, so we can't do it, so we just stay home, right? But the funny thing is, and this is how it's so great to have like the innocence of children. You witness that. Because Jacob, my son, is a constant reminder of me, like having like that innocent spirit, right? So I get my lotion out because that's all I have in my purse, right? So I put it in my palm like this, and he looks at me, and goes, "Ma, what are you doing?" I said, I'm getting ready to anoint my feet and your feet. And he goes, why? Because we're going to walk in there and we're going to, because I'm asking God right now to make room for us.
Yes.
And we're bringing our favor in with us because we deserve it because God said we can.
Yes.
And he goes, okay, Ma.
Okay, whatever you say.
He goes, okay. But, like he always, I always sense from him that he believes me. Every time I say something, he believes me. That's why I'm always watchful of what I say too, because everything I say, everything I say, he believes me, you know. So then he goes, okay, Ma. And then we walked, right? So he holds my hand, we walked in. And then waited in line. And then, so when it was our turn, I said to the lady, you know, I filled this, the form out online, but your calendar said that, you know, all the schedule's full, but I want to take a chance that to see if you would have room right now. And she goes, okay, well, you know, now let me look. She goes, look like that. And then she said, yeah, we have room. She goes, we have room.
Gotta make room for you, baby.
She said, we have room. When do you want to come? We have room tomorrow. Can you come tomorrow? That's what the lady said. And I said, yeah, we'll come tomorrow. And then so she was clicking and she's like, actually, do you want now? I'm like, yes. That's why we're here. Because she saw me. I put the snack bag on top of the counter. Like we're prepared. Like we already know we're gonna get the spot.
Right.
So I put it on there. She goes, well, you're already ready. You got the snack bag there.
My favorite part was that you left out, which I love about your son, is that he was so he already knew as well.
Yeah.
And he jumped out the car and left you.
Yeah, I know. I was talking to you. He already opened the, you know, because sometimes he does this to me because I'm on the phone and we park, and sometimes I'm not finished with the phone call, so I want to finish the phone call before we get out. And he gets really antsy, you know, like, so he just gets out and open the door.
He's gone. He's done.
And he's like standing outside in the heat. I'm like, I'm not done talking yet, so then I just had to get out of the car because he's already waiting for me. But anyway, so not only did this is how, like, I'm just after that day I called you. I am just so just in love with God. Like he always like, how do you say in English? It's like exceeds my expectations.
Oh gosh,
right?
yeah, that's who
so,
he is.
Not only did he give us favor for that day and the next day, the girl said, you want to take him like next week, same days? I'm like, what? Do you have opening? Yeah, I'll put you in. And he goes, I can even put you all the way to the end of the summer.
There you go.
And I was like, whoa.
Yeah. See, we have a tendency to put this lock.
Yes.
This lockdown on God. And even though we run our mouths and we talk about it, oh, faith without works and God's expectations, but you keep putting a girdle on him.
Right.
Or you keep muzzling trying to muzzle the mouth. And God is like, okay, here I go. I got to bless this girl anyway. You know, I mean, bless her so she'll recognize I'm still God. And you end up finding out that the limitation was you limiting God, not God limiting what he can do. It's funny that you're talking about watching your words too. I don't know if I can pull it up and put it off my phone, but I heard this guy on Facebook, and he was saying, which is so important, and even now I have chills talking about it, and he said on there, he keeps going, I don't want to cry, but I got to say this. I've had this on my phone for over a year. And the way that it opened up is he said, don't scream at your children the first time they get up in the morning because you set the tone of their day. Don't scream before they go to bed because they go to bed and they've heard your voice in a very negative way. So they wake up with that, and then here you wake up with it again. And he also said, and listen to your children. There it is. Because God said he wants each one of us to come as a child. Why does he want us to come as a child? Because when we grow up and we get to this adulthood, as we call it, adults that are stumbling around in the dark anyway.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, we're still stumbling around and we're making mistakes, but he's so faithful that he says, okay, guess what? You stumbled, you fail, okay. We fall down, we get up, we heard the song, and I'm going to dust your knees, just like your son. You told him that day, remember? You told him, don't put on shorts because if you fall, you're going to scuff your knees. He doesn't care. Your son does not care about the scuffing of the knee. It was the relationship he was getting ready to have with these other children. And we do the same thing. We're putting on long pants so we don't scuff our knees. And then what's so funny is, if you fall a certain way, you work in medical, we work in medical, you can fall a certain way in long pants and tear your knee up worse.
Exactly.
You know, all the skin just rub right off.
Yeah.
But the bottom line being is being able to just, okay, we talked about this before. all of us, oh God, Jesus, Lord, Father, and we're just talk. And God is sitting there going, okay, well, when you get through talking, can you shut up so I can tell you what the answers you're asking me?
Right.
One of the things that I think that we should, even at the end of this, is to leave this conversation today, is that while you're talking, nobody wants to be in a relationship that somebody's just talking and talking and you don't have a response.
Yes.
Or don't leave room for the response. We have to give it to our Father and then wait for the answer. Do you remember, like with your kids too, how they put their hand, they go, Mama, 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 and you're like, yes, I'm right here, but Mama, or like somebody else I know, but Ma, Ma. And but the answer's going to be the same if you just wait, or the answers might even be better. I might have had a shift or change in mine. The win again. But if you don't stop patting on the Lord's leg, saying the same thing over and over, when are you going to sit down, get quiet, and wait for the answer?
Yeah. A lot of times after you've asked your questions and you prayed your prayers, then you get up and you leave.
Right.
That's me.
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay, done. Thank you, Lord, in Jesus' name, amen. Okay.
And you know what the funny part is, too? I think about you say you take your walks in the morning.
Yeah.
And she literally told me she walks and she closes her eyes. And I'm like, do you not know you can walk into a tree, a light pole,
but
something?
I memorized the road. I know exactly where the trees are.
But you don't know if there's a person going to be out there. So you're just blind.
Yeah.
But that's good because you're doing that's blind faith.
Yeah.
So, it's good in one hand.
Yeah.
It was quite funny when you told me that.
I have to take a video one of these days so I can show you guys. No, because like in the morning, it's just, sometimes you just feel, and I learned this from you too. You told me, like, sometimes when you can't really say the words, then you just be still and you just be quiet.
Yes.
And that's, sometimes I just do that. I do the walks and I just don't even say anything. But it's the feeling, the feeling of gratefulness and just excitement that I got another day to do over what I didn't get
do
to
good
do
yesterday. Yes.
That's the best part, That's why it's true when they say, there's joy in the morning, because it's true. Like anyone that really lives by faith, like and you walk with God, it's like that feeling, like, yes, another day,
that I can do better than I did yesterday.
Yeah, and do better than yesterday.
Absolutely.
And so I always tell people that was close to me that when, because you do have people that feel hopeless and be like, whatever. And I always say, like, you know what? As long as you get woken up the next day, just be that, like, just have that joy in that. Like, don't even worry about, am I gonna close the deal today? Like, like all these things, because sometimes we worry too much. And I'm talking to myself this time too. Sometimes we worry too much that we're not doing enough. Like me, that a lot of times when I'm getting attacked, it's like I'm not doing enough. Like I feel bad that I'm sitting, or if I feel like sleepy at night and I'm like, I want to take a nap, sometimes I keep myself up, like, I want to take a nap. I could be cleaning the kitchen right now and I'm going to take a nap, but
these appointment books that we carry every day,
yes,
they get on my nerve.
If
you look in here, I leave blank pages because, like today for you, which I was fussing at you about in the car, you had scheduled like 12, 11,
no, 9. I have a 9, a 10:30, and a 12, and then I have 2:30.
I don't see. For me, and my sister laughs at me. She's like, I can't believe you can take a nap during the day. Sometimes, most of the times, I'll take that time if I don't do anything, not even talk. I have to, because I feel like our minds and the world is moving so fast. Everything is moving. But when you stop, like we were riding over, there was no music, no nothing in. And I found myself.
But I was talking the whole entire time. I noticed.
No, you got quiet a bit. You settled down. You were talking. But anyway, bottom line being, there comes a period that we've got to find the peace and the joy of solace, solitude, and quiet. You don't have to do it but maybe 15 minutes. In that 5, 10, 15-minute period, take the moment, just take a moment and listen to your breath. Listen to the breathe. And if you can only imagine that when you, that's God breathing in. You know my prayer. Father, breathe in me. And as I exhale, anything that's not like you, let it cease to exist. Don't let it attach to anything negative, anything that's out there that's not of you in me, that it not attach itself to anything or anybody, but go back to Hades. And I just got chills. Because a lot of us, we don't inhale. Like right now, you could be doing it. Just inhale. And with your career of knowing about oxygen, if you don't have oxygen, and you wake up in the morning and there's no dirt on your face, that means you're alive and you got an opportunity to breathe. Breathe before you start the day. You're doing the walk, yeah. But when you're walking, intentionally, don't even ask God anything. Just inhale and exhale and let him put it in you.
I know, I learned that. I used to I got to do my walk because I got to ask God about this, about that. So, because I need my alone time. Because at home, as soon as Jacob wakes up, it's like I'm distracted. Everything's happening already. So I need to get away. I need to walk and be by myself because I have these questions I want to ask God. But just recently, I want to say maybe in the last year or so, I've just really learned to just walk and just be in his presence. And it's the amazing thing. And if I don't get to do that, it's like it just completely throws me off and I feel like I haven't started my day.
But that's because you've already set a schedule again.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing too is that it doesn't matter how hot it is outside. Before, I used to make excuses and be like, it's too hot today. I can't walk. But then because I long for that time. And
self-care.
So I long for that time, and it doesn't even matter. And you know what? It's so funny too, because I live in Henderson, right?
Oh,
and
God.
We live in the.
And just so you know, everybody, that is if we live in a valley,
yes,
Henderson is the deepest part of the valley.
It's the hottest part of the valley.
It's the hottest area in Vegas. Oh my God! Just imagine a tube, and at the bottom of the tube, that's Henderson. So the heat just not only is up high, but it comes down and it plumps there, and it kind of stays there. But go ahead.
And not only that is I live in a new development, so all the trees that are planted are still shrubs. There's no shade.
That's another
There's no
thing
shade.
too.
Yeah, but this is how I'm gonna tell you. This is how amazing it is. Okay, so I do my walk. I have my route and whatever, but it's because there's new homes and stuff. So shadows, right? Shadows will cast.
Right.
And I tell you what. So I walk for maybe 30 to 40 minutes, but I always have opportunities where there's an area where it's the shade.
Right.
So I never really walk under the sun.
Ah, okay.
So then it makes me I'm able to walk farther because of the shade. Because when you're in the shade, even though it's hot, when you're in the shade, you don't really feel it's only hurts your skin when you're the sun is directly at you. So and then I have my water and then but
that's
anyway,
biblical too. Under the shadow of the Almighty.
Yes.
I mean, God will give you the shade that you need. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's so it's just it's just an amazing thing because even those little things you see so the longer I'm walking in my faith, the deeper my relationship with God, right? The more I get to appreciate. Before, it has to be something big that you do to me that I would be, oh wow, thank you so much, like that. Now it's the littlest things. It's just me being able to pick you up on time. That is a blessing. Because I know how you are with time. I know you said if we're on time, we're late. You always tell me that. So I'm I gotta get there. I
don't want to hear her mouth. But you know what? I look at it. For me, I guess since I've been on my own from a very young age, that I have the tendency to be able to. Time is so important because you can't get time back.
No. It's the best gift you can give.
Yes. Or get.
Or get.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah. So speaking of time, we're out of
I saw
time.
that. I saw that.
Can you believe it? See, I
That
told
went
you.
so
See, I
fast.
told you
Yeah.
it's gonna be great. So the prayer is, everybody, that Miss Suzy is gonna be back next time.
Well, the other part of that is that remember one thing, as we said, don't talk to your children, don't fuss and scream at your children before they go to bed. Don't wake them up with that hollering and fussing and all of that. And then hush.
Hush. Yeah.
And let them tell you sometime, because the word says out of the mouth of babes as well.
Yes.
So not only is the scripture like alive and kicking, I mean, God shows us every day.
Yes.
So we get quiet so we can hear from. It's nice to pray, everybody, please do. But then hush.
And
Wait
listen.
for your answer.
Yeah. And be open to change.
Absolutely.
Remember the word change. I love that word.
Faith, favor, and change.
Change.
Yes.
So the
yes.
word of the week would be change.
Yes.
So be okay. Be okay with change.
Yeah.
And if it's, if it's not, you're not used to it, just take a deep breath, take a deep breath and
exhale
and
first.
exhale, and then just be still, and then just ask God. Let God be God. There you go. Okay.
Yes. And nobody except the word no. I always want to
Yes.
leave you with something positive too. I like little things that click in that are simple and easy to say. When somebody tells you no, learn how to flip things. Now think about that. The word is N-O. If you take the O and put it in front of the N, it's on.
Right. I like that.
Yeah.
So, and that is the end of our show.
Yes.
And it has been, of course, a great experience sharing the podcast with you, with everyone, with you, Miss Suzy. We hope we've inspired you and made your day better. We will have a new episode every week again.
Yes.
So I'm very excited for that. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Just type The Good Side Wins.
Yes.
And remember, we have a little motto. Remember, an act of goodwill
Yes.
is always rewarded. A good gesture is always appreciated. So
Absolutely.
I am your host, Leizel, and my guest, Miss Suzy. Wishing you to have a great week ahead. God bless you, and join us again on The Good Side.